Now let's continue with our Thor's hammer. Let's turn on the references. The next piece I'm going to be doing is the base of the hammer head. And we're going to start that with the tube. Okay, let me put myself in front, spacebar 3. And we'll start with the tube. I'm going to get rid of these. And let's just type tube. We can start with something really small, 0.01, 0.01, and the height's also 0.02 maybe. Okay, so it's pretty small. Now the first thing we want to do is make sure that the top of the tube, let's add some end caps, the top of the tube is actually aligned with the bottom of the hammer's head. And we've done that before when we were adding the this piece, the cylindrical component on the top of the hammer head, which was this one. We had a tube and we applied a transform with the bounding box expression. Okay, we were referencing the clip 4 maximum y coordinate. And we're gonna use pretty much the same thing. Let's repeat the same process. So in this case, I want to apply a transform. And same thing on the y-axis, I want to make sure that I'm grabbing the bounding box. And now we type a string, so it needs to be under inside quotes. It's going to be 2 points slash clip 4. And we're going to be grabbing the dy min in this case. Okay, so we don't want to grab the maximum. In this case, we want to align this with the bottom, so we want the minimum y coordinate. Great, so now it's in position. For this piece, I am not really interested on intersection. I'm not going to apply a boolean on this. It's a separate piece. So on the tube itself, we've learned how we can make sure that the base of the tube is actually at the pivot point by copying the height, copy parameter, and here on the center y coordinate, pasting relative references and dividing by 2. So we need to, if we have a tube going from here to here, and we want to make sure that this goes up, then we grab half of this unit, half of this dimension, which is this, and we add it in order to make it go up and stay like this. So this is what's happening here. If we want to make sure that instead of having the bottom aligned with the pivot, we want the top aligned with the pivot, then we just have to subtract the same amount. So in this case, we just add a minus here, and we get the same effect. So that way we can use this to control the height, and it's always going to be on top. Now let's adjust this. I'm going to go to millimeters and widen it out. In this case, they're not going to be exactly the same. So I'm gonna, the second radius is going to be slightly lower. This needs to come down a bit more. So let's go to millimeters, just a little bit more, something like that. Let's make sure we have polygons. Shift W to see the wireframe. Give it enough resolution, so 64 to make sure. And let's start working with I'm gonna type spacebar 1, and I'll start working with extrudes and all that stuff. So now we're gonna start working with poly extrudes on this. S, select, type C, model polygons, poly extrude, and now I'm gonna give it a bit of an inset. And too strong, so middle mouse button, millimeters, something like that. Spacebar 1, check it out. Spacebar 1 might be a bit too much, so maybe 2.5. I'm gonna press Q again and then pull this down. And I think we got the overall shape. Spacebar 3. Looks good. Now we still have another detail here. Let me try and show it to you. Okay, there's a small intrusion there. So I'm going to come to this spot, select this node, C, model, polygons, polysplit, and I'm going to introduce a split here. Remember, I'm not interested in the shortest distance, but an edge loop. And I'm going to place an edge loop here and an edge loop. And I'm going to press Q and insert another edge loop there. Something like this. Next, I'm going to type S, make sure I am in primitives. I'll select this one, and I want the whole loop. So I'll select this one, hold Shift A, and click with the middle mouse button, and it's going to select everything. Okay. Now the next step is going to be to press click C, model, polygons, poly extrude, and just push this inside. Something like this. Let's round this up to 0.05. Just a very small detail. And it's pretty much done. I'm just gonna apply a bevel to this. We can do the same thing. So C, model, polygons, poly bevel. And on the poly bevel, I'm not interested in having anything selected. So I'm gonna remove that selection. Ignore flat edges and put this at 90 or 85. So only those green edges will be affected. And here I want to fix distance, but before that I'm going to switch to round with 3 subdivisions, and let's say 0.004. 04. 3 zeros and a 4. Nice round edge there. Maybe a bit more. Yeah. I hit escape. And we're good to go. Just gonna add some normals. And I think this will work. Shift W. Let me hide the other references. It's nice. Let's add this to what we already have. So we have a merge here where we're adding the runes and the hammerhead. I'm gonna switch these two. If you select it, you can switch it here. The order of the inputs, you can switch it here. And I'm gonna connect this there as well. Cool, so now we have that piece already taken care of. And on the next chapter, we will continue with this.